Hi guys, welcome back to this African perspective. Thank you all for stopping by. You guys know how difficult it is to actually get a job. It's like you just have to go through hell and back for you to just get a job now. Unlike how it was much more, easier and not like these days. So some people actually have different experiences when it comes to searching for jobs. That means the interview processes have become more complex than it used to be because now these companies have, become, very proud and arrogant because they know many people are desperate. And then the money that they want to pay is actually really low. That if they possibly want to even hire someone, they are really trying to offer you as little as possible so the executives can actually live their dreams. Okay, but before we get right into this video, I want to give a big shout out to Speak Truth. Thank you so much for $2 super thanks. I really appreciate you. Make sure you please click the like button. It really helps with the algorithm and I appreciate that so much. Okay, let's get right into it.
Y'all, I'm shaking. What the fuck is going on? A few months ago, I got laid off from a nonprofit because they went through a restructuring, lost a bunch of funding, a bunch of shit, and I got laid off. And since then, I haven't been able to find a job. And then literally within the last couple of months, 4 of my friends have been laid off and also haven't found a job yet. And then now I just applied to work front of house at a bakery and I didn't fucking get it. When I interviewed, they had a stack of resumes within the first 3 days that they posted the job. And I interviewed and I didn't fucking get it. I have a master's degree. I have hella years of experience in my field. I've never struggled with getting a job, never struggled with interviewing and not getting anything. And I don't know. What is going on? Why is everybody unemployed?
So I officially pulled myself out of the Google hiring process after passing the interviews over 7 months ago now. I interviewed with them back in September now, and it was a phone screen plus a 4-round technical interview. So interviewing alone was 5 hours. That does not include all of the studying and the preparation that gets put into doing these interviews. And the process of scheduling these is not just straightforward either. I remember I did the phone interview, but then you had to be sponsored by a team to then be eligible to go to the on-site 4-round technical interview part. And once you passed that, the team that sponsored you had already filled the role, so you needed to then be team matched again. Finished the interview, thought I did well, now it was just time to wait and see. If I recall correctly, because it was so long ago now, it took around a month for me to even get my on-site feedback and to be told that I did well and now was moving into team matching, which like I mentioned before was separate than the team sponsorship. Over the course of the last 7 months, I've been having sporadic team matching interviews, multiple of which went really well, and I was even told that I was the top candidate for the role. But each time last minute was told that it was actually given to an internal candidate who had recently been laid off and it was going to be less of a ramp up time for them, which honestly, good for them. They lost their job. They deserve it. But then why are you interviewing these external candidates in the first place? Here's the real kicker too. My recruiter called me yesterday and actually told me that she thinks that I could make my profile stronger if I redid some of my coding interviews because while I got positive feedback, it wasn't the strongest positive feedback. What are these people smoking? Who's actually going to do that? First of all, you don't even have a guaranteed team for me to join. Now you want me to do another 2 to 3 hours of coding interviews for you? Be so for real right now. I have some self-respect. These companies need a reality check. Not only is this such a waste of time for every candidate, but you're also wasting recruiters' times and you're also wasting all of your employees who are doing these stupid interviews.
The pay range for this job was so offensive that I reported it for harassment to LinkedIn. This is for an assistant HR role, so it's HR operations assistant. Manage and process all new hire job changes, ad hoc compensation changes, and leaver events in Workday HRIS system for WME client group. Spoiler alert, yeah, this is WME William Morris Entertainment Endeavor, whatever the fuck they want to call themselves. So a lot of this is just manning the HRIS system, and then they have worked closely with payroll and finance teams to provide information accurately and in a timely manner. Assist HR operations team with with projects as needed, including integration efforts, system data and process audits, and other EX initiatives. Audit Workday regularly to ensure data integrity and any other duties that would be within scope of the role. Before I show you the pay range, I want you to know that I literally did that exact same job when I was working for Morphe. I made $85,000 a year, which honestly, with this day and age, with the cost of living, companies are like paying. I should have been paid double that just for the cost of living, not even for the job itself, but that's a completely different conversation of where salaries are and where inflation is. But that's just to give you an idea of I did that exact role and I was making $85,000 a year. So this job is also considered entry level. It is on site in Beverly Hills, which if you are from LA, if you live in LA, you do not want to drive to Beverly Hills for work. Okay, ready? Final guesses? $15.96 to $18 an hour. This is quickly going to not even be legal in the state of California because our minimum wage is going up to $20 an hour, like overtime. A California minimum wage is $20 an hour. Like every single, like Target, Trader Joe's, all these places, $20 is the bare minimum. To be one of the biggest entertainment industry companies in the world in Beverly Hills, HR operations assistant, I reported that job listing for harassment on LinkedIn. Anyway, eat the fucking rich.
There's definitely something political going on that they're not disclosing on why they are doing this to begin with.
That creator is right, and you should go and watch his video. He's a recruiter, so he knows what he's talking about. But the basic gist of what he's saying is, why do the jobs numbers look so good if nobody can get hired for anything? And I happen to know why that is. He says there's something political going on behind the scenes, and he's absolutely correct. There is. And here's the political thing that's happening that nobody is talking about. Every large employer in any given state above a certain threshold of employee number is responsible for reporting jobs numbers to the state. Here's how many people we have working. Here are all the jobs that we have on the books that we can't fill. And it's just one of those metrics they report back to the state so the state can keep track of things. Well, at some point, these employers figured out a little bit of a thing they can do that can be a little bit mutually beneficial for both them and the state. Have you ever heard in the jobs report on the news or wherever you get your information, hey, my state created 15,000 jobs this quarter? I mean, that actually sounds like it's really good, but they're using very careful language. They're not saying that they hired that many jobs. They're not saying they filled that many positions. They're saying they created that many jobs. It's a very careful word choice, and it's entirely intentional. The reason why they say that is because employers will create phantom jobs. They will create jobs that don't really exist, that they don't have any intention of filling, that they don't even have the budget to hire people for. And then they then go to the state and say, hey, guess what? We created 15,000 jobs this quarter. And the state will say, great, that looks great for you. It looks great for us. We're a state that's hiring. We have all these jobs on the books. And then the state will issue a jobs report and say, we created 30,000 jobs this quarter. Or however many jobs it is that they cumulatively hear about are open and available from all the large employers that report to them. And that looks good for them. And then what the employer gets in return, in exchange, they get a break on their unemployment insurance. Now, for those that don't know, if you've ever been on unemployment, unemployment is kind of a public safety net. If you are out of work, you can apply to the state for unemployment. You'll get a portion of your income just to survive, to bridge the gap until you can find another job. It's a minimum, but it's enough in some cases for groceries, rent, in theory at least. It doesn't always work out that way. But every large employer that qualifies for this job number thing is obligated to pay a certain amount of their revenue into the state unemployment system in order to help fund that public safety net. And if they report, hey, we have 15,000 jobs we've created that are on the books that we can't fill, the state will say to them, hey, that's not your fault. No problem. Those are jobs that don't count towards your unemployment insurance. You don't have to pay unemployment insurance on those jobs because you can't find people to fill them. So the companies have an incentive to create phantom fake-ass jobs that don't actually exist in order to boost the job numbers. And the state will say, hey, great, we have good job numbers. In exchange, we're going to offer you a break on your unemployment insurance. It's basically a tax. It's a different column on the spreadsheet. So the whole thing is a big three-card Monte shell game of money and influence, and the job numbers look great. Cool, we'll give you a break on your unemployment insurance. Meanwhile, who's getting screwed? The people who can't find work. They're applying for jobs left and right, and the jobs are just not calling them back because the jobs don't exist, because they're not jobs. They're just numbers on a sheet, and they allow these big employers to save money. So, yeah, he's right. Go watch his video. That's the political thing that's happening that nobody's talking about. The state and the employers are colluding to boost each other's numbers, and the people who are out of work are the ones who are getting screwed.
When I tell you that there's really no job that is little or beneath you right now, you just gotta take what you see and what is being offered to you, because what are we gonna do? Many people have been searching for jobs for years now, 1 year and maybe some even months, 8 months, and it's like been so difficult. And most times, when some are actually in this like corporate world, like in this higher type of rank type of jobs, it's hard for them to get out of those jobs and they are paid because that's the lifestyle they are used to, and then be laid off or be fired, and then be trying to navigate through trying to get another job, that same type of job. And it's like they've laid off a lot of people, and many people are still searching for those type of jobs, and those jobs are really not hiring. So what are you gonna do? You're just left with actually taking whatever you find. Like, it might be a lot of pay cuts from what you're used to, but just try to work that job until you find something that is higher than that. There are some jobs that when you see their pay, it's actually definitely not worth it for you, especially depending on your situation. Maybe sometimes the money you might actually use in the gas you might burn to actually get to that workplace, and the time you spend on it might not be worth it for you. Everybody have different situations, circumstances. So if you know it's not worth it, don't even try it. Like, 'cause what's the purpose of going to do what is not gonna pay anything for you?
I'm unemployed. If you follow my page, you'll know that by now I've been on a journey, honey. Left my last job due to my mental health, and now I'm currently in search of a new job. But today a recruiter called me, and I just had to tell her the truth. So a recruiter calls me and tells me that she has a position for me as a patient care coordinator in Alpharetta, Georgia, and it is in person. Now, I already don't want to go into anybody's office, but I told her, ma'am, if you don't live within 5 to 10 to 15 mile radius of where you're going to work in Atlanta, the traffic, it's not even worth it. I said, so please tell me the salary matches these requirements along with this location, along with being in person. She said, well, what are you expecting? I said, I don't want to tell you what I'm expecting. I just want to know what the salary is. What is the budget for this position? She said, they're paying $18 an hour. I said, ma'am, respectfully, you need to offer this job to a kid who just graduated from high school or somebody who just retired, and they can couple that $18 an hour with a retirement check. I have 10 plus years of experience. I went to college, busted my behind, coding classes, got an IT degree, specialized in health informatics. All for people to tell me I'm worth $18 an hour. You can kick rocks. I'd rather be poor and work for myself and figure out my business until I can get it off the ground. There's other things I could be focused on right now than working for somebody for $18 an hour. So respectfully, ma'am, no thank you.
I'm convinced that the reason why it's so hard to get a job nowadays is because you go into a place and you ask them, are you hiring? They'll hit you with the, yeah, we're hiring. And then you ask them for a paper application, and then they'll be like, oh, we don't have any paper applications. You can apply online. And then you're literally calling them a week later being like, hey, I applied. Did you ever get my application? And they'll be like, oh, we'll get to it. We'll look at it. We haven't had the time to check it out. Maybe you would have the time to check it out if you literally gave me a paper application and you could check it out right then and there. But no, they always hit you with the, oh yeah, fill one out online. And then you go online and literally they're asking you the most weirdest questions. Sometimes they'll literally ask you for your social security when you're literally applying online. Like, I hate that. As soon as an application online tells me that it needs my social security and it's required for me to move on, I'm not filling it out anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm not putting my freaking social on a random application. I don't even know if I'm gonna get the job. Like, why do you need my social? I hate that. And then I applied to so many jobs today online, and all I keep getting back are calls from fucking scammers, scam calls, like the weirdest calls ever. I literally applied for jobs. Why aren't the jobs calling me back? The only places that are calling me back are fucking scam calls. Like, oh my God, it's actually so frustrating. It's so frustrating. That's the reason why it's so hard to get a job nowadays, because everything is online. Everything's online. You don't know where you're even, like, you apply online, you don't know how the environment is because you haven't had the chance to go inside and actually talk to someone face to face. You only see what it's like when you go for the interview. And you're lucky if you even get an interview because you have to be constantly calling like, hey, did you look at my resume? Did you look at my application? Did you look at this? Did you look at that? Did you look at it? Did you look at it? And they'll hit you with the, no, we haven't had time to. We'll get to it. Why don't we set up an interview and then I'll get to it?
You usually have to call them and they'll be like, oh yeah, let's set up an interview for you and I'll get to reviewing your application. Oh my God, why can't you just have one in person, a paper application? Let's go back to the times where not everything was online and you could actually fill something out with a pen and paper and talk to someone face to face.
Never in my life had this much trouble finding a job. Like, the job market is trash. And like, I'm not the type to like get on here and cry, but I was just sitting like thinking, and I was just like, why is it so hard? Like, I've never had this much trouble finding a job. Like, I have my bachelor's degree, and I know like these days that means nothing, but like, and I have a great resume, I have experience. And yes, I did quit my job, but I quit my job not because I wanted to. I did not want to quit my job. I actually quit because I felt like I had no choice because of the toxic environment that I was in, and I did not feel protected at all. And it's just really unfortunate that now I'm in this situation. You know, it just sucks. Like, I can't tell you how many interviews I've been on. I'm so sick of it.
So I've been unemployed since January, and I am needing to make some fucking money. And one of the best ways, apparently you can, is through this app called Bacon. It's just red, and it's literally called Bacon. And then you like put in your social, your ID. They run a quick background check, I guess. They didn't notify me of any sort of background check, but then you can apply for shifts. And this is the first shift I got, which I'm excited because I only downloaded this yesterday. Didn't pay any money. It's completely free. This is not ad or sponsored, just for my girlies and gays and theys and whoever needs to make some money. So I'm gonna do this banquet tomorrow. I'll make like $115. It's like an hour drive for me, but it's worth it because I need cash. So I'm going to let you guys know how it goes tomorrow. But I'm excited. This is cool. Like, I'd never heard of it. And one of my friends from my sober group was like, download this app. So I'm telling you to download this app. Bye.
They're really playing a lot of games with people with all these job postings, and the whole situation where they be like, they post jobs and they get a lot of people actually applying for that job. And they really don't even check other people's, like, they don't check all the applications and see if, oh, let me check if this person is actually supposed, if they are, you know, compatible for this job position. They don't really check it most times because they are not really hiring. And at the end of the day, they just have an automated message that absolutely, maybe possibly they just give it 2 days or almost immediately send you a rejection note saying, oh, you know, we moved on with other candidates, and still shamelessly post that same job. And it's like, why do you guys have no shame or fear or any fear of any repercussions to your actions? You just say you are hiring and then you post the same job posting saying you've moved on with someone else. It's just so time wasting. It is so depressing for a lot of people, especially when you keep getting contacted by a bunch of scammers talking to you about jobs, and they be so serious, wasting your entire time. Someone is already depressed dealing with them trying to find a job and not getting it, and then the scammer wasting your time. And some people even getting cheated of money from these scamming jobs, because now the more a lot of people actually impoverished, the more you're going to get people who are ready to really scam you off of your money and do some stuff, shady stuff, because that's what you're getting. If the economy is so rough, then of course people are gonna get rough.
In Europe, like, people with tattoos and piercings can get jobs like way
even in Europe, they will not hire you. So I don't understand why we're actually so confused. It's one thing to have tattoos, and it's another thing to have tattoos. But it's a whole different thing to have tattoos with evil symbolic meaning. You have the devil and the devil's brother right here on your chest that you'll be using to greet people. Even if you want to put on shirt that cover it. What about all this stuff that's going on your face now? It doesn't do good for the company. But I looked in the comments, and you know, some people said she might get a job at Spear, Halloween, Hot Topic, or Spencer's. Yeah, go crazy. But you gotta be for real. I don't know why we acting so confused. I'm like, why? Granted, I do think it's because of her tattoos, but yeah, there are jobs out here saying we're hiring, but ain't hiring the fuck out of nobody. But I don't think that's your problem. I think it's the tattoos.
Can somebody please tell me what the fuck I have this for? Or thousands of hours of training? I mean, thousands. Or why I've worked the last 20 years to just not be able to get a job? I have a psychology degree, thousands of hours of training in various types of social work and counseling. I can't even talk right now. I am one who usually trains people to do things, whether it's HIPAA, paperwork. I have tried to get a job at every entry-level position you can think of in the last 2 years. In the last couple of weeks, I had to have 15 interviews, which is the most callbacks and interviews I've gotten, so I finally had hope. And for the third time in 3 months, I was told I am a good fit. They would like to move forward with me. They just have to check my references. I sit and I wait. They don't call my references, and then out of nowhere tell me that an internal person applied and the position is no longer available. This is 3 completely different fields. Most recently was a public school where I live. The last time before that was as a harm reduction counselor, and another time was as a receptionist. I don't get what the fuck is going on in the world, but I've never had trouble getting a job. Ever since I was 15, I have been employed. I have almost always been offered every job that I've ever interviewed for, to the point where I'm usually having to decide which ones I would like, and now I can hardly get an interview. When I do get an interview, I'm lucky if I get a call back, and then the times that I've been offered the position, they don't check my references, and then they just go with somebody else. I have 2 children. I am disabled. Technically, if I wanted to, I could live off of disability, but I can't afford to, so I don't even take any assistance. I just want a fucking job, and I can't find one. I don't care about the pay. The only thing I care about is the hours, because my children are special needs, and I share one vehicle with my family of 4, and my partner who also works 12-hour shifts, so that is the one setback, is the times of day that I'm available, which I understand is making it hard for some of the positions that I applied to, because that's not what they're looking for. But overall, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. And then when I try to apply for something that is completely below my degree or anything that I've done in years, they look at me like I have 10 heads and basically tell me they don't think I know how to operate a register or something of that nature because I've been working behind a computer and with people for years. Are you kidding me? All of my first jobs were at registers, and even little small jobs that I've taken in between here and there. And quite frankly, if you ask me, registers are much easier to operate nowadays than they were when I first started working at 16. What the fuck is the world gonna do when jobs become less and less because of AI, when we can't even find them now?
So if you live in the United States right now, you understand that we're going through a job market disaster, a fucking crisis. But I'm about to expose everyone. So starting with, if you're a hiring manager or you're in hiring practices, fuck you. And secondly, I'm exposing companies and the games that they're playing from personal experience. So this will be one of my only videos today because so far I'm 1,600 job applications in, and once I post this video, I'm going to go apply for another few hundred. And this is what's going on. So first and foremost, these companies are saying that they're urgently hiring, but yet they're rejecting everyone, and then they're reposting the job that they're urgently hiring for like a month or 2 later. What's up with that? Genuinely, there's been theories and comments that I've had saying that it's because companies are getting paid to do this, that they're profiting from it. I don't understand how, but just a theory. But my question is why? And second, another thing I'm going to expose is what these companies are doing is they're sending you through. I've been through, I can't even begin to tell you the amount of times where they'll have you for an initial interview. So I passed the first round, right? Passed the second round, passed the third round. I'm like 2 weeks in to a company, like in their interview process. I'm at like interview number 4, and then they just go, yeah, sorry, no. Or they don't even get back to me at all. I shit you not. There have been multiple companies where I'm going to like the 4th round of interviews, and then they just never get back to me ever again. I'm like, what the hell, right? So out of the 1,600 jobs I've applied to, I've had one salary job offer that was around $41,000 a year to sell phones in Costco. I rejected that job offer. I turned that down. And I've been offered 3 1099 positions, which means I don't get paid hourly or salary. I just get paid on if I can make a sale. The other thousands of jobs that I've applied to, I've either been rejected or been played with through the interview process or just never heard back from. So it's fucking crazy. Another thing I'm going to expose is college education. They don't seem to care at all that I have a business degree applying for marketing or management, any of these roles. All they care about is your work experience. So if you're currently in college and you're seeing this as maybe a sign to drop out, do it. Do it. Not financial advice, but do it. I'm in my last semester of college, and if I would have known, going back what I know now, I probably wouldn't have gone through 4 years of college. Just being honest. And finally, for those of you saying, oh, you're not doing the right processes or steps, fuck you. Because me and thousands of other people are literally trying everything. From applying online, to calling companies, to going to job fairs, to I literally go from business to business for minimum wage jobs. And I give up my resume and I talk to the manager and they go, oh yeah, well, either we're not hiring right now, or they're like, oh yeah, you seem like a nice guy. Put in your application online. So I do that, get rejected. I'm not applying for over 6-figure jobs. I'm applying for minimum wage positions. Fuck!
This is what it's like applying and interviewing for jobs right now in corporate America. Thanks so much for chatting with us. We think you'd be a really great fit. We're going to set you up for next steps. Okay, sounds great. What do next steps look like? We're going to have you meet with our team members. It'll be a panel style with about 2 to 4 people, and then we'll have a response for you. Okay, sounds great. Hey, just wanted to let you know that the panel interview went really well. The team thought you were great, but they decided that they want to do a 3rd round, and you're going to meet with the VP of the department. Oh, okay. Great to hear it went well. I'm excited to speak to Mr. VP of the department. When will that be set up for? You know what? He's actually out of the country, so we wouldn't be able to schedule that for another maybe 3 to 5 weeks. Thank you so much for waiting the 3 to 5 weeks to speak to Mr. VP of the department. He really enjoyed your conversation. He's finishing up interviews this week. By next week, we should have a response for you. All right, sounds great. Thanks. Hey, HR person, haven't heard from you in 2 weeks. Any update if the position is moving forward? Hey, thank you so much for your patience. Mr. VP man really loved the conversation, thought you'd be a really great fit, but decided to go with a different candidate. Sorry. Fuck this.
The way these companies will be so quick to lay people off just to go and hire people that they will pay really little amount of pay is so surprising, because they really literally just don't care about the people that they are letting go off. They'd be like, so if all these corporations, all of them, majority of them just keep laying people off and keep hiring people that they will pay less, then what are people supposed to do? I don't know how they want people to survive. I know they don't really care, but like, it's just so ridiculous. It's getting very ridiculous. What I don't even understand with all these corporations is, like, if you guys are getting this money, the CEOs, the executives and all of them, what do you guys really, what do they do with the money? Let's be honestly, like, let's be for real. There's just a certain amount that I will have in life. I really think that I don't need more money. For maybe, yes, you might get greedy when you get to a certain like level in life, when you have some certain power, you have some certain money. It just has to be a diabolic wickedness for you to just want to continue getting so much more, and it's like you can't even spend it all. Like, really, yes, you're keeping generational wealth, but even if they could even still have a lot of money for generational wealth, but why do they keep going like so far? Why do they keep wanting so much more again and again? And it's like, hey, like, that is really ridiculous for you to just keep digging deep and digging deep, like someone that literally does not have even a dime in their account. Do you ever stop? Is it the day where you go 6 feet under? Is that when they stop? Putting all these job postings and then giving you so much responsibilities, or people actually doing those jobs and they have a lot of responsibilities to deal with, and then you're not really getting paid much. And you know what is crazy? People will actually take this job regardless of how little that money is. They will take it because there's like a desperation that they've created, and it's these jobs that have created the desperations by laying people off, people actually struggling to find a job, a lot of population of unemployed people, and the lies that, oh, many people are employed, which is basically just a very big lie. It's like, it's just a very bad situation, because now what is going to happen? Like, why are you trying to actually reduce and cut people's pay? Like, you're cutting the pay that should be paid at a certain type of job position. Why are you cutting it down? And it's like the cost of living is not being cut down. Do you understand that you pay? It's like, why are they even trying to make people so angry? Because this is a very sad situation to see. And what you're reducing pay, people's pay, the people that you're hiring to jobs that is actually paying them very little compared to the labor that they're going to put into that job. And then the cost of living is becoming higher and higher than normal, but yet instead of an increase in pay, or even at least at a normal price that you used to pay, can you believe that there are even some jobs that pay the same amounts an hour that they pay for 12 years ago? It's like, are we improving? The price of things are not the same as how it was 12 years ago. Why is it still the same? Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're watching me for the very first time. And also leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would really love to see what you think about this video. And also, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.